Hello everyone. Indeed Inspiring is back with an interesting and educational session. Today we have Ms. Simran Kihani with us. She is the head of computer engineering, GH Raisoni College of Engineering and Management, Pune. She is the chairman of Women in Engineering Affinity Group, IEEE Pune section. Welcome, ma'am. I request you to please start a session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harsh and Kushal. And it's been a pleasure for me to be part of this Data Fest event, which is being organized by Indeed Inspiring. I know Kushal since a long time. He is our student only, and I'm really happy to share and work contribute for him as well because he always contributes for us. So this time I thought ki I'll also contribute for his company. So can I start my presentation?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So, very good afternoon to all the attendees. This is Dr. Simran Kiani, working as a head of computer engineering department at GH Raisoni College of Engineering and Management, Pune. And I'm also looking after Women in Engineering Affinity Group of IEEE Pune section. And today I will be speaking about cryptography and some of the techniques used in the cryptography. So let us begin with a very simple concept that is security and why it is being needed. So you might be aware of that there are lot many cyber crimes that are being happening in the coming years. Like you can see from this particular PPT of mine, wherein I have taken it from internet itself, and it shows that the rise of cyber crimes in India is increasing day by day, and it is 63% surge in cyber cases since 1st January 2024. And you can see the losses also. So India has lost over 1750 crores because of the cyber frauds. And you can see that the number of complaints regarding the digital fraud, trading scam, or investment scams and dating scams are increasing day by day. And because of this, you can see it is the information given by Reserve Bank of India, wherein from 2020 to 2020, if you see, to 2024, the losses have been increased extremely, and 177 crore have been stolen in 23-24 from from Reserve Bank of India. So this is why we need security. So what are the various types of attacks that can happen that I would like to mention here? This is the top 8 attacks which have been given on Google. And there are many other attacks also, but these are the top 10 attacks. Because of these various frauds and untrusted events are being happening on the internet. The first attack, that is the topmost attack, is the phishing attack, wherein there is a use of deceptive emails, text or websites. And these attackers, what they are going to do is they are going to send you some phishing links. And after clicking on you, all of you might have received some messages or some emails wherein you have to just click a particular link. And once you click that particular link, all your credentials are being extracted by the hacker. And this hacker is going to use your credentials in order to either hack your emails or your yeah, bank transactions also, or OTPs as well. So this is the topmost attack. Because of it, lot many frauds and losses are being happening. The second important attack is ransomware attack, wherein some malware software is going to encrypt the data and you have to pay for that particular this thing. So maybe it can be infecting pen drive, wherein once a particular user uses that particular pen drive and attaches in his or her laptop, that particular laptop or that particular device gets locked, and you are not able to access any data or any information from that computer or device. And in spite of it, you will have to pay to that particular attacker for unlocking as well. So this is the second type of, which is a very, very difficult kind of attack. The third one is denial of service attack. Denial of service attack, as the name implies, is in this particular attack, the attacker is going to uh, send excessive load to any server or any device. And because of this, lot many messages or a lot many processings, that particular server or a device gets crashed and the device is not able to perform any operations. Like for example, if you have used the railways or something like that, you am I audible, Kushal?
Yes, ma'am, you're
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
There is some network issue. Is the screen visible?
No, ma'am. Actually, the screen is not visible actually, but your voice is clear.
Okay, just a second. I'll share it once again.
Yeah, ma'am, sure.
Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. It's completely visible now.
Yeah. So I was talking about man in the middle attack. The name itself implies that the hacker is playing in between the sender and the receiver. So whenever sender is or any particular user is sending particular information, what this hacker is doing is the hacker is converting and manipulating that particular information and sending it to the receiver as if the sender has sent that particular information. So what happens in this type of attack is the receiver is not aware of that the sender has sent the any particular hacker has sent the information instead of the original user or original sender. So that is called as the man in the middle attack, and both of the parties are not noticing it, because what is happening in this case is the sender is sending the information, but the hacker is changing it and sending it to the receiver. So receiver and sender both are not aware of this particular attack. The next attack is the SQL injection attack. This is also a hazardous attack wherein any particular user is trying to access the database, and from that particular data, by simply sending simple queries on to the server, and because of these queries, and as these queries are getting exploited, so the user will get, or the hacker will get, the entire access of the database. Now the hacker can use the credentials of the user and can misuse it. And it is also very simple type of attack. Just we have to put a small SQL query and we can get the access to the database itself, tables. The next one is the cross-site scripting attack, wherein the hacker is putting some malicious code into the website and now getting the access of that particular website, and the users can visit those websites, and the hacker can get the details about the various credentials of the user. The next one is the zero-day exploit. This particular attack is an attack which happens at the 0th day. So whenever we go for any development of the softwares, we develop these softwares and we deploy these softwares at the customer end. So this 0-day attack is the first day attack wherein the attacker will try to find out the discrepancies or some of the issues in that particular software, and will take disadvantage of those errors in the software, and can take the credentials as well. So hence it is called as the 0-day attack, because we all are aware that the softwares are being developed in the versions. So maybe the first version will have certain bugs. So if a particular user or an hacker tries to find out the bugs or vulnerabilities at the first day itself, the hacker can easily crack that particular software or that particular website and get the access of all the important or credentials or any confidential data as well. So that's why it is called as the 0-day attack. And the last one is DNS spoofing attack, wherein we are sending some DNS queries to the malicious sites so that they can be accessed without any permission. So these are certain 2024 top 8 attacks, and the some of them are very easily, like we can the attacker can directly send a link and can get the credentials, or attacker can try to get the access of the database by simply writing a one-line query. So this was the detail about the various attacks. Now, hence, because to avoid all these attacks, we have some security measures. So I will be speaking about some security measures. So what exactly is computer security? So when we talk about security, security is nothing but protecting the data. So there are two important things that we need to protect when we talk about any security. The first is the information that is being traveling over the internet. So we all are aware that internet is an unsecure network. Whenever anybody is sending any confidential information over the internet, it is not secure, because there are lot many users that they are available on the internet, and any user can can easily take your confidential data and can misuse it. So we need to provide protection against the information or the data that is traveling over the internet. For example, if you buy anything from the Amazon. So when you buy anything from Amazon, you have to put your credit card number, right? And after that, CVC and all those details are also required. So consider that if you are sending this credit card numbers without any encryption technique or directly in the plain text format only, so what will happen? If it travels as it is over the internet, anyone can take your credit card number or and your CVC or PIN detail and can misuse your credit card. So therefore, we need to provide security to the confidential data that is traveling over the internet, as internet is not secure. The second important thing that we should protect is the infrastructure. So when we talk about infrastructure and if it is a computer network, so there are n number of computers involved, servers involved. There are n number of routers, firewalls in the network. So taking care of all these servers, routers, so there are certain components on which our computer security is lying. The first one is confidentiality, authenticity, integrity, and availability. We call it as CIAA. So confidentiality plays a very important role, and what confidentiality means is the concealment of information or resources. That means we need to ensure that whatever information or resources that we are using during the communication, those should be available to the intended sender and receiver. That means if we are sending certain confidential information, then we need to make sure that this particular information is sent in the coded format or in the encrypted format so that only the sender and the intended, that means the receiver for which this particular information should be available, will be able to understand the content of the message. This is called as confidentiality. The second one is authenticity. In authenticity, we ensure that the identification and the assurance of a particular sender. So, when we talk about authenticity, if I take an example, so if we want to authenticate a particular student, or a particular employee. So what we generally use, we use an iCard or we use some other measures like PAN card or Aadhaar card in order to identify a particular user. In the same way, whenever we want authenticity in terms of the computer network or any user that is sending the information to a particular receiver or a number of receivers, we need to ensure that the data has been received from the correct sender. So for this purpose, we have certain mechanisms like we can make use of the digital signatures or we can make use of the digital certificates which ensure the identity of a particular user. So this was the second pillar. The third one is the integrity, wherein we ensure that whatever data is being sent by the sender, the same has been received by the receiver. So there is no change or modification in between the data which is being sent from sender and the receiver. So for example, if I am sending some hello message to a user B, so what this integrity means that the user B should always get the hello message, not the hi message. If user B is getting hi message, it means that the data has been changed in between the communication channel. Therefore, integrity ensures that data has not been modified. And the last one is the availability of that particular resource or particular information. So we need to ensure that whatever services or whatever information that is to be traveling from source to the destination should be available whenever desired. So these are the four basic components of computer security. As I mentioned, we call it as CIAA components. So, so we talked about why we need security. We talked about what is security and what are the basic components of security. The next one is what are the various techniques that we can apply in order to secure our data or particular resources or infrastructure. So we can have various techniques like depicted here. We can have series of confidence. We can have access control as well. So, and we can have ability to detect unpatched flaws. We can have backup of data, antivirus softwares. We can have firewalls. We can apply encryption techniques, and we can have intrusion detection system and various awareness sessions of information security, wherein we can make aware our users to protect their data by using simple security techniques. The first one is the antivirus. So all must use your antivirus software whenever you are connecting to the internet. The simplest is the backup of the data. So whenever we have certain data, we must ensure that we have a backup of that particular data so that if the original data is corrupted, we can make use of the backup. The next one is encryption. So what is exactly encryption? So in encryption, what we are doing is instead of sending any original message over the internet, we convert this data into some coded format. And this particular coded format is called as ciphertext. And this ciphertext will travel from source to destination. At the destination end, the reverse process will happen wherein ciphertext will be converted into the original format. The next one is access control. So in order to provide security, we can also have some access control measures. So you might have heard, I'm assuming that you might have heard operating system, wherein we give access of files to a particular user. So for example, if a particular admin is there, so we give read as well as write access to the admin. If a particular end user is there, so we give access of reading only to the end user. So by providing these accesses, what we are doing is we are trying to protect our data from hackers or from attackers. So all of the data will not be available for updations to all the users. So only admin can update or can write the data, and end user can only view that particular data. So this is how we can provide security to our system. We can also have firewalls, wherein the way firewall works is very simple, wherein this firewall is nothing but a server. So what this firewall is going to do is whenever any packet is coming from the internet, this firewall works as a security guard. So for example, if you have a security guard at your premises, or for example, if I'm talking about the college, so we have a security guard. So what is the role of the security guard? The role of the security guard is to authenticate each and every user or each and every student or visitor who is coming to the campus, right? So in the similar way, this firewall works on the same direction. So if any packet is coming from the internet to our server, this particular firewall will first check whether this particular packet has come from the authenticated user or from authenticated sender. If it is coming from the authenticated sender, then only this firewall is going to allow the packet. Otherwise, that particular packet will be rejected at that end only, and that packet will not be able to enter into the system. So this is how firewall works. And then we also have an intrusion detection system. So what this IDS is, this intrusion detection system is a system which checks what is an intruder. Intruder is a person who is trying to damage or who is trying to spoil your system or making certain changes into your system. So intruder can be an internal intruder or an external intruder. So it can be within your organization or outside your organization. So what we need to make sure that if we have a pattern wherein we can check the intruders overall, like how that particular user is logging in, what changes he is making, whether he is checking the confidential data or changing the confidential data, if he's trying to log in to your account or something like that. So from these patterns, we can easily find out whether a particular user is working as an intruder or not. And then according to it, we can uh, we can restrict that particular user and we can protect our system. So these are some of the techniques that we can use in order to protect our system. So in order to provide more security, what we can do is we can first find out our assets, we can find out the risks, and then protect these using certain tools and techniques according to the priority. And this is how we are going to increase the security of our system. So next I will be talking about two important terms, that is threats and the attacks. So when we talk about a threat or vulnerability, it is nothing but a potential violation of the security. So whether it can be flaws in the design or in the implementation or in the operation. When we talk about an attack, so it is an action that is going to violate your security. So there can be two types of attacks. So according to the classification, the first one is passive attack and the second one is active attack. So what happens in the passive attack? The hacker or an attacker will try to only monitor the information that is being traveling from source to destination or over the internet. And this can be an eavesdropping, and wherein the attacker can only obtain your message contents and only monitor it. Whereas if we talk about an active attack, so in active attack, the user is trying to modify your data. So it can be replaying of the previous data, it can be modifying of the data, it can be denial of the service, and masquerade. What happens in masquerade is one entity is trying to be some other entity. So this is all about the various types of attacks. So this is how I have depicted these attacks in the flowchart. Now, talking about the attacks, so you can clearly see that I have shown it by an example. Sorry. So, for example, if we have two users, Alice and Bob, and they want to communicate with each other, and there is a Trudy in between. So, Trudy is nothing but an attacker. So, when we talk about confidentiality, so you can clearly see that if there is a user A and this is user B, and what is happening is there is some third person who is eavesdropping, that means monitoring the information, unauthorized access of the information, sniffing of the packets, and copying of the files and programs without any permission. So this is called as eavesdropping, and this is nothing but the attack on the confidentiality. Talking about the integrity attack, so you can see from this diagram, there is a user A and user B. There is in between a operator who is taking the data from user A, modifying it, and then delaying it, giving it later on to the user B. So this is integrity attack. And the third one is authenticity attack, wherein what is happening is there are two users, again A and B. So A is sending certain data to B, but in between there is a masquerade, that is a C user, who is working as A and sending the information to B as if A has sent the information. So this is an attack on the authenticity. Now, talking about the availability attack, so you can see that there is a destroying of hardware or software, modification of the software, or corrupting packets in between, or denial of service, that is crashing of the server, overwhelming of the server by sending lot many messages to the server or requests to the server. So this is attack on the availability. So there are certain security policies and mechanisms. Mechanism is nothing but the procedure, tools, or methods that we can apply in order to make our system more secure by preventing, detecting, and responding to the recovery from various security attacks. So there is a oversight security architecture that is X.800, which works on these principles that we have already seen, that authentication, access control, confidentiality of the data integrity, and the last one is non-repudiation, wherein we will be protecting our data from denial by one of the parties which are there in the communication. So these are some of the techniques that we can apply. So I've already talked about certain techniques, like we can have access controls, we can have encryptions, we can have integrity of the data, authentication exchange. So wherein when particular users want to exchange some confidential information, there will be authentication exchange between them. That is, first they will be sending their identity to each other, like their digital signature or their digital certificates, and later on they can start communicating with each other. Then we can have routing control as well. And there are a lot many things that we can do in order to provide security mechanisms. And these are some of the other techniques, like pervasive techniques, wherein we can have some event detection, like if something is being transacted from your bank account, so you immediately get an alert message, right? So that comes under the event detection, wherein there are certain triggers to be written for the database, and once that trigger is uh, uh, that value is true, the event has been detected and the alert messages are being sent to the users. And certain security mechanisms are also there, like security audits, recovery, labels, etc. So this is the simplest model of network security, wherein you can clearly see from the diagram. So we have a sender and the receiver. Whenever sender wants to communicate with receiver, some confidential information is to be transmitted. So this particular message is being converted into some secret by using some secret key. It will be converted into ciphertext, and this secure message will travel over the destination, over the channel to the destination, wherein reverse process will happen, and the original message will be given to the recipient. So in between this sender and receiver, there is a trusted third party. Why we need this trusted third party is when we want to send some secret information like keys or some digital signatures or some certificates, so we need someone who is trusted. So this trusted third party is important to transfer this secret information to sender and receiver before they start communicating with each other. So for example, if the sender and receiver wants to communicate, so they will be first connecting to the trusted third party. This trusted third party is going to give them certain keys and some certain identities, and then by exchanging these keys and identities, they will start communicating with each other. So this also I have already told you that we have a gatekeeper function who checks each and every packet which comes into the system, and once that particular packet is authenticated, then only it is being allowed, otherwise that packet will be dropped. Now, the important thing is when we talk about encryption and decryption, there are two major important things that need to be taken care of. The first one is the algorithm, which we are using for encryption and decryption, and the second one is the key, which is very, very important because when we talk about there are two types of algorithms in cryptography. The first one is symmetric type of algorithms. The second is asymmetric type of algorithms. So in symmetric type of algorithms, when we talk about encryption and decryption, the same key will be used for encryption and decryption purpose. So if a user is using a key, sender is using a key, the same key receiver will be using for decrypting the data. But when we talk about asymmetric algorithms, so there are two different keys which will be used. The first one is the public key, the second one is the private key. There is a major difference between public and private key. So in the when we talk about public key, so as the name implies, this public key will be available in the global database. And talking about the private key, this private key is only available with the that particular user itself. So if public key is used for encryption, the other key, that is private key, will be used for decryption purpose. So talking about the importance of encryption and decryption and the importance of the process. So algorithm plays a very important role and selection of the key plays a very important role. So I already spoke about symmetric algorithms wherein a single key is being used for by both the sender and the receiver. The most important challenge that is being faced in the symmetric type of cryptography is the key exchange problem. So if sender and the receiver are using the same key, that needs to be traveled over the internet. And if we send a particular key over the internet, what happens is that particular key can be used by the attacker, and then attacker can easily decrypt our confidential information. So to avoid this type of attack, we have an algorithm called as Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm. So what happens in the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm is Diffie-Hellman is the author who has invented this algorithm, and key, as the name implies, it is a key exchange algorithm wherein sender and receiver will not be directly sending their keys. The sender and receiver will be sending certain information which need not to be kept secret, and then generating the keys on their own and then using those keys for encryption and decryption purpose. So, Kushal, is it okay if I continue this algorithm?
Yes, ma'am, we can continue.
Okay. So, for example, if we consider that there are two users, Alice and Bob, and this Alice and Bob, they both want to communicate with each other and they want to share some confidential data. For example, if they are working in the defense, so they want to send some confidential data. So instead of directly sending the key, what they are going to do is they are going to agree on two large prime numbers. We can call these prime numbers as N and G. And these two prime numbers will not be kept secret. So they will transfer these two prime numbers N and G over the internet. So as we are aware that internet is an insecure channel, so anyone can take these N and G values, but they are not the actual keys which are being used by Alice and Bob. So the second step is Alice is going to choose another random number that is called as X, and Alice is going to find out the value of A that is equal to G raised to power mod of N. There are certain formulas that need to be applied in this algorithm. So once this A is being calculated, this A will be sent to the Bob. Bob is going to choose another random number, which is also a prime number, Y, and this Bob is going to calculate B is equal to G to the power Y mod of N, and this Bob will be sending this B to A. Now, Alice has sent A to Bob and Bob has sent B to A. Both of them have got this information. Now, both of them will calculate the secret key, which will be used for communication by using the formula that is K1 will be equal to B to the power X mod of N and K2 will be equal to A to the power mod of N. So by calculating these two values, we will get the secret key, and this particular secret key will now be used by Alice and Bob in order to transfer the confidential data. I'll give you a small example and then we can close it. So this is the diagram which shows the communication between Alice and Bob. So let's see an example of it. So for example, our numbers given are n is equal to 11, g is 7, x is 3 and y is 6. We need to find out k1 and k2. These are the secret keys. So I have solved it using the formulas that were given in the algorithm. So Alice is going to calculate A, that is equal to G raised to power X mod of N. The value it comes is 2. B will be using G raised to power Y mod of N. B will be equal to 4. Now K1 and K2, once we calculate using the formulas, we are getting the value of K1 is equal to 9 and K2 is equal to 9. So hence, this only I wanted to prove that even if the confidential information is being sent by the Alice and Bob, that is, the Alice and Bob has sent the value of n is equal to 11 and g is equal to 7 over the internet, but still they are calculating their secret keys K1 and K2 at their end, and these two values are same as it is a symmetric type of algorithm. Same key will be used for encryption and decryption. So they have calculated their secret key value and now they can use this particular 9 value in order to encrypt and decrypt the data. So this is how it works. So the main advantage of this particular algorithm is instead of sending the key directly, this particular algorithm is used to transfer some values, and from these values the particular users can calculate their keys secretly and can use these secret keys for encryption and decryption purpose. So this is how we can enhance our security instead of directly sending certain confidential information. So for example, if you consider that if Alice and Bob would have sent this 9 value key value over the internet, then what could have happened? Any attacker would have used this directly from the internet, that is key value 9, and this value can be the attacker would have used this value to decrypt the data. As it was a confidential data, we have applied this Diffie-Hellman algorithm to secretly calculate this value, secret key value, and use it for encryption and decryption purpose. I hope I have made this algorithm clear, and I have tried to shortcut my presentation by only considering some of the major points and one technique which can be used for security purpose. So, is it okay if I close it, Kushal?
Yes, ma'am.
So there are many other algorithms also, like we can have RSA algorithm, we can have AES algorithm, and lot of algorithms are available which we can use in order to securely transmit the data is when we talk about any confidential data. So this is one part wherein we can protect our information from any attacker or any person who can misuse it. So that's it from my end. Any queries?
No, ma'am. Thank you for the engaging discussion and the insightful session. Your perspectives were truly valuable and we made a lasting impact. Grateful to have had the opportunity to learn from you. It was a really good experience, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks a
Thank you so
lot
much.
to Inspiring for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Looking forward for some future endeavors. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Have a good day, ma'am. Thank you.